welcome to the Let Me Just Say This podcast. Today we're recording off of one mic for right now because we're having technical issues, so it may sound a little echoey for now until we figure this out. But I got your main host, me, Cristian,
Ben,
and our two lovable guests,
Tater,
Colton.
And we're just gonna. This is a podcast off our top of our head, so we're not prepared for today.
Oh, thanks.
and we can tell by how that intro went.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got the beginning part right.
At least you know where you are. That's the good thing.
Yeah. So I wanted to delve on that topic that Tater brought up about wasting money, which I'm a huge guilty person for that. Which, if you've ever heard the product G Fuel, I buy a lot of that energy drink.
God.
And
The lead infused.
no,
It's
So-
terrible.
So
for
look
you.
it up.
No.
Look it up. It is certified that they have found high concentrations of lead in it.
well I looked into it.
No, you didn't.
This was a study done in like 2014, and it was not an abnormal high lead concentration, but
But was it high?
It was
But
higher.
what is a normal
it-
lead concentration?
In most states, it's all the same, but in California, they have a stricter law.
I'm
on
gonna
it,
call him Ben.
which is why they performed that lawsuit
Ben have to
in
say?
California.
If there's any lead in it whatsoever, it's probably not the best thing for you.
Thank
No, because they also disputed that most energy drinks also have high lead concentrations in
Oh,
them.
great. That makes
Yeah,
me feel
so
a lot better.
any
Well,
energy
that's
drink.
not most, not all.
You're missing the point, though.
Name one.
I'm saying none are
Lead.
safe.
Lead's still
So-
bad.
Yeah,
Lead bad.
But anyway, so I think what Christian was trying to get at is spending a lot at vending machines or at vending areas, correct?
No, I buy these off of Amazon.
Okay, well that kills my.
You're talking about like spending money at vending machines. I'm like buying books and like anime mangas
Well,
off.
if you purchase anything
Oh,
anime,
okay.
that's a waste of money.
Yeah,
Oh, that's debatable.
No
yeah,
offense.
that's debatable, Ben.
Debatable.
Let's look at the closet where we can see
It's
Spoons?
not a
It's
closet.
not a closet.
It's a cabinet.
cabinet.
A see-through cabinet.
Tater's Dragon Ball Z collection.
You fool!
Sorry.
But yeah, it's not a closet. It's a cabinet, Colton.
I'm sorry.
You fool.
I like that it's open in the front, though, because that way
You can
We can
show
see
You're
off.
it.
open to disappointment.
you can just, right off the bat what kind of person you're dealing with when you step into this lair.
You're just like showing off. Has your chase for the women succeeded recently, Tater?
So it is less than fruitful, but we're here to discuss.
Have you tried hanging a blanket over the
No,
Dragon
we're
Ball
here
Z
to discuss. Here to discuss about wasteful spending at vending machines.
Okay.
Yeah,
How's spending money at a vending machine wasteful though? You're going there for a specific reason to get something to eat.
Well, so
Or
I'll
drink.
go there a lot at my work. I have two jobs, and not at the work that I have with y'all, but another work. We have vending machine in the main office, and so I'll go up there every now and then to get coffee because this is where they have the coffee machine. And I'll go up there, and there'll be Mountain Dew and
Disgusting.
Good choice.
and shut your mouth, and cheddar popcorn. And every time I pass by those two, I have to buy some.
Ew.
So I don't need it. I know I don't need it, but
I want it.
I want it. Yes. sir.
You're telling me out of your wide selection of snacks, you chose those two?
Yes, because they're delicious.
Is it? You said cheddar popcorn?
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Like in the black bag. The black bag.
Ooh,
Ooh,
the white
yeah.
cheddar popcorn.
Yes.
Don't, yeah. All right, I'm done. I'm on your side. Never mind.
That's the best popcorn. And then Mountain Dew, full strength, not diet.
Doesn't that decrease your sperm count? Or is that just a myth?
I'm
I
not
think that's a
using
myth.
it anyways, so
Yeah,
Do you
hanging think he's too concerned about getting his hand pregnant. So
Do they get the fierce? Do you get the fierce grape flavor?
It's not even a flavor.
Yeah, there is.
Mountain Dew.
No,
Is
oh
that
no, wait, that's
really?
Gatorade. Never mind.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Oh
How do you
wow.
get those
I was
two
like,
mixed
where
up?
was this fierce grape Mountain Dew? I'm like, that
Wow.
sounds delicious. I want it. You made that up, you liar.
Didn't they have a competition though to name your own Mountain Dew?
I just would have named mine like Bill.
I think one of them. Well, maybe I'll bleep this out. But one of them in the anonymous or public suggestion box, someone put that made like top 4.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, bleep that out.
As a name for a Mountain Dew product.
Yeah, that was the name.
Dear Lord.
And then I think another one was like Granny's Gushers.
Oh, I like that. That's good.
Why?
I like Granny's.
Yeah, I'm with him on that.
Why, Colton?
Yeah,
Anyway, Colton. So you
Yes.
recently watched The Mandalorian.
No.
I did.
Okay, so
All
we're
right.
not doing this.
For
So
con- no,
you
I'm-
recently prescribed to Disney Plus.
no. Now we have to give them context, you nerds. All right, so for context, Tater and Colton both recently got a subscription for Disney Plus, and they watched The Mandalorian together like boyfriend and girlfriend.
Oh my god.
And me and Ben haven't seen it yet,
No!
so now they want to talk about it all day.
Only one part specifically.
And I'm gonna allow Colton to bring this up if it has nothing to do with the main story.
It's
Oh,
does-
see, look at that
Wow.
hefty spoilers.
It won't let you know anything about it.
Okay,
All right,
I have to bring something up.
warning: there
It
will
has
be
nothing
spoilers.
to do with the main story.
Yeah, it's just
What
what
about
he's
that?
escorting.
So, at one point, the main character was trying to accomplish a mission, which
We
is
can
an
say he's a bounty
assassination.
hunter.
Mhm.
Because that's part of the trailer. We can say
Just
he's a
let-
bounty
Anyways.
One person talk.
Anyways, so there is a bounty hunting droid at the first
Oh,
episode.
yeah.
Colton, how do you feel about that droid?
I love that droid.
That droid was awesome. It was so cool.
It's badass.
So basically, for y'all who haven't seen it, it's just basically.
I feel like, do you know the name of the droid? Like,
No,
it's
no,
a
no.
random bounty hunter droid.
oh, it's not the one from
It's-
the original movies.
No.
Okay, that never
Everybody
mind.
thought it was, but
Pick like 3 letters and 2 numbers.
Well, that's-
his
Yeah,
name.
pretty much.
That why wouldn't they use the original then?
Don't.
well,
Stop.
you don't want to go
Stop.
into that. You don't want to go into that. 'Cause I have a reason, but you don't want to know.
All right, fine.
But it was really cool. It was really cool.
Oh yeah, he took out like 50 guys. It was awesome. By himself.
Now, I have been very happy with, as well as Disney has gone from movies to TV. I was kind of worried about that. I was
Yeah.
kind of worried it would flop, but it has gone very well so far.
I just hate having to wait each week for each episode, but I know why they do it. Because they don't want you to watch all 10 episodes and then not pay for the subscription.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they.
Well, and also the risk of someone torrenting them all downloading and then spreading them around for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it sucks.
You had a hard time growing up in the day when you had to wait every week to watch.
Yeah,
I never
Colton.
did that. I never did that.
You
I
never
was
had
too-
cable?
Well, I had cable, but I was too impatient not to do, to
That's what I did with the
watch it each week.
3D Clone Wars series. I would wait every week on Nickelodeon.
I
10
just wait till it was
o'clock.
on Netflix, and I just watched it on Netflix.
Oh.
This is the way
I think it's sad.
Wait,
how-
so wait a minute. Wait, pause.
Yes.
Pause.
Yeah.
You grew up with Netflix?
Wait, what?
Not really.
Well, I mean,
when I
Netflix
was
has been
younger-
around since like 2001, right? It's been around for a while.
But it hadn't been streaming for that long.
No,
No,
they were only like
they
they
were
were like
Blockbuster.
blockbuster style
Yeah.
where they sent DVDs through the mail.
Blockbuster.
So how
God, I
old were
miss
you
that
May you
movie.
rest in
when
peace.
they
I know.
finally did the streaming?
I
Like where you
think
could
I was
actually
around-
like watch continuous episodes.
I think it was around 11 and 12.
Okay.
And by then, I wasn't really watching TV because I was playing Skyrim all day.
Good old Richie Rich
On
over
the Xbox.
Oh
here.
my god, dude.
Yeah. I didn't start watching Netflix till I was about 16. That's when my parents finally got Netflix. Then I started watching Netflix.
Yes.
I finally watched it in college. I legally streamed a lot. And
Did
I
you use
finally
After?
do what?
After.com?
No, so the only thing I watched back
Pirate
in the
Bay?
day.
Pirate Bay?
No, like LimeWire, like back
Oh.
super back in the day, dude.
I never had the chance to use that growing up.
Oh, so I did LimeWire a lot, and then after that, once they finally cut that off, it was VHS and DVDs.
Yeah.
Way to go.
I remember renting a VHS before, and I always thought it was just, it's always mean, and you always hate it when it happens to you, but it's really fun to not rewind it and turn it back into the movie store.
Yeah.
Because they're always like, they put the stickers on all of them. Please rewind the video.
Oh, so you were that douche.
I don't have that minute and a half
But
to
see,
wait.
I was before that. I was before the rewind. I was at the point, we're in the middle, where you were at VHS and I was at DVD.
What?
What does that mean?
Like,
What are you talking about?
DVD.
Before the rewind.
Like, DVD, you don't have to rewind.
So while you were alive in the
so
80s, he
you're
was
saying-
simultaneously alive in the 90s.
So you're saying you grew up without.
No, I'm just saying Ben and I were different eras. We're the oldest ones at this table.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so
Okay.
Ben was
I
at
think
VHS where he had to rewind it, and I was at DVD.
I mean, I had VHS growing up.
But I didn't have VHS rentals.
I remember, I think it was my 5th birthday. I bought this small DVD player TV. It's like about 10 inches high,
Yeah.
like 10 inches wide. And I thought it was like the future because I was like, you can put CDs in here and a video will pop out,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Cause,
Like, this is amazing.
yeah.
When I used to go to in the town I grew up in, when I'd go to the local movie store to rent a VHS back in the day,
Yeah.
like when a new movie would come out, they'd have like a certain part of the wall, and there'd be like 30 copies. You go in there all excited to get the movie, not a single copy's in there. It's like, this is great. Now my life's really now we got to go back over to the old movies and
Yeah.
find something I want to,
Yeah.
find something I want to watch again. Or,
I
it
went
was very annoying.
I still remember Blockbuster actually, even though they're more of a 1990s company because apparently went bankrupt pretty early. But we went to a Blockbuster pretty frequently when I was little.
I thought they didn't go bankrupt till like 2005 or something.
Maybe, I don't know. I just know the one around here stayed open to see the.
I remember the Blockbuster around this area. They had a $20, $15, and $10 like bin,
Yeah.
and you could buy a movie.
God,
for,
I miss
like-
it.
Oh yeah, it was the best movies. It was the worst. Like they were terrible movies,
Yeah.
but it cost you $10. So what can you expect?
Right.
So
So you're like, yeah, I'll buy that. For
Yeah.
$10.
it was
I
really
wouldn't
good.
buy it for 15, but I'll buy it for 10.
Yeah.
Oh, so speaking of terrible movies, if I can find it, maybe we can have like a podcast movie night or something, but I have this collection of old, kind of like homemade horror movies, and every movie has pretty much the same actors in each one, and it's like a bundle, so it's like 10 different horror movies, and like one of them's called like Bunny Man, which is a guy who kills people in an Easter Bunny outfit with
That's not the Easter Bunny.
Yeah. And then
So you know why that movie failed, though?
yeah,
There's just no creativity there. I got an idea.
what?
Just ignore him.
But yeah, if I can find it, I'll like send a picture to show y'all the names and stuff. I can cut this.
I was
part
gonna
out.
look up the Easter Bunny.
Oh, I don't think you can find it. Like I think it
Oh,
was
I
like
can.
Bunny Man or
The-
something.
No,
The video you
no.
showed me.
I'm not the Easter Bunny, or that's not the
No,
Easter
that's not the
Bunny.
Easter Bunny. You don't remember that? Oh my god.
Oh, the kid screaming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Am I allowed to show that, or?
I mean,
Copyright strike.
maybe people will hear it like faintly in the background, but.
Turn it up.
So for all the
I want
listeners,
it to be like in your history right there.
so for all the listeners, Tater's pulling it up on his TV.
Huh.
That's not the.
It's the one in the top searches.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is the video. That thing looks so psychotic. kid.
That's so horrible.
It's funny. Side to side, like that's gonna help.
Oh, so I
He's
guess
just trying to just confuse the body.
I guess we could talk about that, but like watching those videos of like parents like scare their kids.
Stop, Colton!
But like,
Whoa.
do you ever find some that are just like that's kind of fucked up but still hilarious because of like how the kids just react?
Oh yeah.
I draw the line at like below 2 years old. That's why I'm just like, that can really
Well,
traumatize.
there's
Oh, yeah.
videos like
Well,
like
even at,
parents
like-
will wake their kids up with a mask and a chainsaw with no chain on it.
Yeah,
I didn't
And
see
I'm
that.
like,
that's not
what
horrible.
are you doing to your kid?
Well,
I mean,
even like anywhere below like 14, like I feel like that's really scarring, you know?
Yeah.
Like 15 and above, like okay, they're old enough, they get it, it's a joke. But like anything lower than that, and they're scarred most of the
I mean,
time.
my dad liked to scare us, but it was more of a joking way, and we asked for it half the time because we thought it was so funny.
You mean how like you scarred your family
Well, I scarred my family.
by hiding under the bed?
Oh, have I told that story on the podcast?
I don't
Yeah.
think you have.
You haven't told a story to me.
Oh.
all right.
So story times with Colton.
I believe I was
Paint the
around
picture.
3 years old.
Paint the scene.
I need to keep
What's
my
the
pants
room look
on.
like?
Yeah.
Well, hold on, let me get to that point. I was around 3 years old, so my dad is working the bulldozer, and he's digging out a hole in our backyard before we're gonna put the driveway later. Anyway, it's a big hole of mud basically at this point because it just started raining. Me and my sister thought it was a great idea to have a mud fight.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and
As most
except
kids do.
you know she's little. I think she's around. I must have been around 5. She's around 2 or 3.
Did you win the mud fight?
Well, that's the thing. I took a big clump of it, and while she wasn't looking, I slammed it in the back of her head as far as I could. She screams, starts crying, and she goes after towards my dad. I freak out, and I run to the house. And I hide first behind my dad's recliner, and he walks in and walks past, like, Colton, where are you, kind of thing. And he can't find me. He walks out. I go to my bed, put the covers on my head, and that's the last thing I remember because I fell asleep. When I woke up, I was in my Buzz Lightyear pajamas, and I went out.
Wait,
Well,
hold up.
before this part, explain
Hold up.
explain what was going on while you were asleep.
No, it's better to leave that.
All right.
But
Buzz Lightyear pajamas?
that was my favorite thing as a kid. I love Buzz Lightyear.
Everyone did at the
Okay.
time, Tater.
Alright.
I
I didn't. I'm just curious.
I
I'm
couldn't
curious.
find. Okay, I woke up. I
Little
couldn't
college
find.
boy Tater was in his jammies.
I couldn't find anyone when I woke up, so I get a little freaked out. I go out the back kitchen window or the back kitchen door. And when I open up, there's a cop sitting there, like standing there. He's like, "Are you Colton?" I was like, "Yeah." And he screams over to where like driveway was, like, "I found him!" Whatnot. There's been a search party around my house full of policemen. My dad couldn't find
Is
me.
this for real?
Yeah, my dad could not find me. Called the police. My mom was at work. She drove back and was at home and everything like that. So I must have been out for hours. And you talk about scared shitless like my parents were.
You were just in your bed though,
I
with
was-
your covers over you?
Yeah, but he couldn't see me.
Didn't you say you
Because-
lived near a wooded area too, so
Yeah.
they assumed that?
Yeah, they thought, well, apparently someone reported, like one of the neighbors, that a weird white van or something like that drove past
Oh,
the house.
God.
Oh
So
my
all they
God.
thought I was dead.
The
Like,
coincidence.
yeah, like it was bad. So they were like trying to track down that car. It was bad.
Some poor guy who
Yeah.
just has a work van got pulled
Yeah.
over and got his ass kicked by
I
the
felt-
cops. Where's Colton? I just
Find
came home
him
from
now!
work. I just came home from work, I swear.
Oh,
But then they
I
find-
just love that one
They
cop.
find a hammer in the
'Cause he
back
was-
with red paint.
I just,
And a bag of candy.
I just love that
Skittles.
one cop that, you know, he just had a funny feeling because he was trying to get inside the house. He was like, I just gotta check inside to see if he's in here. And he finds this little kid that just woke up from a nap. Is inside.
What happened
Cole's like, yeah, I was just sleeping. What's going on?
So, that's my scary story, I guess. Or
Why did they not check your bed?
he went. I think I remember him calling my name, but I was too scared to answer because again, I thought I
Oh.
was in trouble. So I just moved. I gotta keep in mind, there's a bunch of pillows on my
I
bed.
still don't know why he wouldn't go. Like,
Yeah,
at some point, go to the room.
yeah.
passed out from fear.
Feel the bed. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, just, you gotta check. I mean, you check everywhere.
I felt so bad as a kid too.
Yeah.
I was just like, all that trouble.
Do you feel bad about it now still, or do you
I think
laugh
it's
about
hilarious.
it?
I think it's
It's
hilarious.
That's good. I shaved some years off their lives with the stress, but you know.
My dad was like sick for a week because he just got so upset about it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Colton.
He points at you from the bed. You did this.
Oh my god.
He's got the Crypt Keeper hand. Those were his last moments.
Jesus Christ.
No.
I'm just
No.
I'm surprised my mom didn't check at least. You know, I can see my dad kind of overlooking, but my mom did try to check to see maybe, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that because like, if Megan's like, hey, go get the kids, I'm like, kids.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get up. I mean,
Yeah.
what? They can come out of the room or whatever, but when they don't answer, it's like, oh. So you get up, you go down there, and you open, and he's just got his headphones on. I'm like,
You smack him.
your mom needs you, and then it's for like nothing. I'm like, what are we doing? Just let him listen to his headphones. I had to stop watching Netflix for this crap. Now what am I gonna do? Now I gotta rewind it 5 seconds to see what I missed of a show I've already watched before.
There you go.
So, I was gonna add on to that, and this is a weird question to ask because
Oh,
this is
God.
late at night and I'm very tired.
Here we go.
But out of anger, have you ever just like, obviously you're home alone, but out of anger, have you ever just like masturbated? Just to get some pent up
I feel
aggression.
Listen to your stupid
I
question.
feel like that answer where all of a sudden all of us were going.
Out of
An
anger?
immediate no.
Yes.
Out of anger.
Yeah,
No.
to release some pent up rage.
No, that's my
That's not-
answer is no.
No.
No, hell.
I posted
I'll
all
show
before.
you.
No.
I think you.
What the
I
heck?
think you go, I think you go see a therapist or something.
Yeah, that's-
Out of anger? Like,
You
I'll
associate
show
anger-
them.
If you associate anger with sex, I think there's a problem with
Everywhere!
I mean, yeah, it's still
Take
gonna be
this.
no.
You still got that whiskey around, Tater? I'm gonna need it.
Hey, here, you clean up that mess now. There's more where that came from. I just need 5 minutes. Here it comes.
Jack Daniels. Stop it. Oh.
We're not sponsored.
He's a good man.
I guess it's just me.
That's yeah, that's a yeah, no. Never out of anger. For pleasure, yes.
Ladies.
No. No.
I just can't. Yeah. I mean,
For
is
those
it-
of you who
what
can't
are the
see
different,
what
what
I'm
are the
doing,
different reasons
I'm
you
shaking
look?
my head very
Like other than
vigorously.
just
I mean,
enjoyment.
there's
Yeah.
no reason. And I've only done it once, and luckily,
Bad day.
What were you mad at though?
I don't know.
I'm
Some
very
girl.
curious. No. We can cut this out.
That guy cut me off. I'm gonna go home and jack it.
We
No.
can cut this out.
No,
I'm very curious.
it's just like
What was it?
like I maybe it was like I forget what was the reason. I was home alone, obviously.
Oh, okay.
But maybe I like stubbed my toe on something, and then
Oh no!
afterwards.
Yeah, you take that.
No.
Take this though.
So great. Like a kid knocks a vase over in the house and breaks it. Well, great. Now I gotta go masturbate.
No, it's not instantaneous. But you're upset,
But
and then
you're still talking about the motivation factor for your masturbation is anger. That's not healthy.
yes,
Cut my life into pieces.
because like maybe
That's my last jerk.
because maybe you just want to wear yourself out.
There's other things you can do.
I
Go
mean,
get a punching bag.
I don't have
Go-
one.
Go walk. Go run. Go.
I mean,
I didn't want to exercise.
Push-ups, anything.
No, I remember now. It's because I was playing a video game online. It was Call of Duty. And I got mad from losing too
take
much.
that, new Master 67.
I'll show you.
So I turned off the console, and I was just laying in bed, and I was like, man, I'm really mad. I'm gonna go really. I'm gonna
Here's
go.
the question. Did you feel better after?
Yes.
So you weren't mad anymore?
No.
He just felt more angry.
He just.
God dang it!
He just blew anger all over his console. Better clean up that aggression.
I can't promise that has always been like a great mood while masturbating.
Oh my God, Colton.
But I mean, it's not the reason I do it. You know what I mean?
See?
I mean, I think we've
someone
established
that just
the
wrote down-
reason that we do it
Yeah.
or have done it, but I've never done it with the motivating factor being I'm pissed off about something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. It's
Somebody's
never been
got to
like,
pay.
oh
and it's
man,
gonna
I feel
be my
pissed
dick.
off.
I'm gonna go make it pay right now.
He's pissed off.
I'm so mad. I'm gonna ejack on your toilet.
Okay, I guess we can move on then.
Baby
No.
I don't have my phone, so I don't have the little, like,
Your little list.
useless things.
Yeah. I mean, this is just a spontaneous podcast we brought up. We
Favorite fruit.
forbidden fruit?
No.
What did you say?
Take that.
Tater, you look like you're having a stroke in that chair. Like an old man.
You look like you're in pain. You okay?
Favorite fruit.
Oh, favorite fruit. Pears.
I just showed that penis who's
Pears?
balls.
Oh my God.
Pears.
Why is pears your favorite fruit?
Because they're delicious and sweet.
Pears are good.
I don't know. I prefer watermelon.
Alright.
Pineapple.
Why?
Why?
Okay, this isn't like a. There's no wrong answer to this, is there?
No.
No.
God, my head hurts.
Except pears. I don't accept pears.
Just what's your favorite fruit? Tater thought of this on the whim to move on from the subject.
Silverback or
Grizzly bears.
I'm down with grapes.
No.
Yeah, that's my second favorite. I like that.
I like because they're
Well,
sweet, but
yeah.
you can eat like a whole bunch of them. And
Yeah.
just,
You can like get the sour ones too, like the green ones. Those are good.
you ever had muscadines?
Oh yeah, those are so good.
Muscadines are good.
You ever had those?
Yeah.
What?
I'll see if I can get them next time we do a podcast.
Yeah.
Mom and Dad grows them. They're really good.
So has anyone here ever ridden any form of public transport in their lives?
Yes.
Yes.
What kind?
I took a New York subway.
And Tater?
Subway and taxi.
I've only ridden the public bus we have
And
around
train.
here.
Train. Excuse me.
And the reason I brought that up, because someone me and Ben know, when I brought up the subject of public transportation, they scoffed at it in anger, like it's a worthless and meaningless thing.
Who was it? Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were like saying it was a pretty much like not needed, and that anyone rides it are just like the scum of the earth. And I was like, what is your deal with public transport? And they were just like, it's not. It's just the worst, you know? Like,
Well, I think what's weird about that too is the certain person you're talking about doesn't have a vehicle for themselves anyway.
yeah.
So
Or
you-
they live in a city where it's just not convenient to.
And it's just like, well,
Well, and their thing was too, it's like, they were like, oh, it's a bunch of poor people and like homeless people riding it. I'm like, good God, the reason that's what it's
Yeah,
for. It's to
yeah.
help those
that's
people.
I mean that's the whole purpose behind it.
It's
is
to help people.
for the people who don't have a vehicle or access to a vehicle.
Yeah.
It's so they can actually do things like still like have a job.
Yeah.
Or go to the store.
Yeah.
Or go to the doctor.
But they made it sound like they should just get a car. Pretty much like that argument, like, oh, why don't you stop being poor? Like, I wish it was that easy.
I don't know.
Pause.
But what do you want to add on to that, Tater?
They can't help being poor.
I mean, you can to a certain extent, but then there's also things that just like, not everything is because someone's made a bad decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes bad things just happen.
Like that single mom with 3 kids who works 2 jobs. Like, well, she can't help it.
Here's a good example. You guys remember the Journey that me and my wife had, the Dodge Journey we had for a little while?
Van?
No. Before the van, the white SUV we had.
Yeah.
Okay. When it got totaled, okay?
Mhm.
When we bought that Journey, we had a down payment to put towards that Journey. When it got totaled, all we got was the exact amount it was worth. So for the van, we didn't get a down payment. So, therefore, we have less money to put down on it. Therefore, our payment's more.
Dang.
So it's more out of our pocket right there. So it's not necessarily that me and my wife aren't doing good enough or trying hard enough. It's just we kind of got a raw end of a deal there.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't care.
Well,
And depending on the situation, the total was probably most likely not your fault. It was
oh, no, it was not. The accident was not our fault.
Colton.
So this is kind of off topic. But my car was
Anyway, back to
this
the
is on
Mandalorian
topic.
then.
yeah, my car was hit last week when I was dropping my good
Oh,
friend Christian.
so for context, this was after work.
Yeah.
My car was in the shop, so I asked Colton to give me a ride. He took me to home, and for reference, I live in a much more rural, ghetto neighborhood. We'll say.
We'll call it diverse.
I like your
Yeah.
neighbors though. Your neighbors
Yeah,
is very nice.
well,
to me.
I live in the nicer.
Diverse.
I live in the nicer part, luckily.
Yeah.
And Colton, after dropping me off, I was like, "Later, man. See you tomorrow." And he was like, "All right, I'm gonna go watch a movie with one of my friends." I was
My
like,
parents,
"All right."
Actually.
Oh, your parents?
It was
Okay.
a family movie night.
And
to
he doesn't
smell.
even make it like like more than a block, and he gets totaled by another drunk driver, like a hit and
Speeding?
run.
Okay. Here's
And
this
you
guy's
give
story.
context to this part because you're the victim.
Okay, so it was at an intersection. This guy was speeding, and he ran the stop sign that he was supposed to stop at this
Well,
intersection.
multiple stop signs.
Yeah. And he takes out the front of my car. This is in front of a Boys and Girls Club, which is where kids
Yeah.
play and everything.
If you don't know what
Kids
that
were
is,
there.
it's an after school.
Where I have worked at.
Yeah.
It's an area for children after school so they can stay to study their programs and out of trouble.
And yeah,
There you
hang
go.
out with other children, and professional teachers work along with them.
Yeah.
And this was late at night, so kids were getting picked up
Yeah.
at the driveways.
Because they
and all
just got
that.
back from a field trip or something.
Yeah.
Speeding in front of this Boys and Girls Club, he hits me, runs to the back of one of their vans, and hits a telephone pole. And then he drives off a second after that, and apparently tries to hide the vehicle, and they caught him 20 minutes later. Now, Tater has brought up something very interesting today, that apparently someone was trying to hide their vehicle from a hit and run right here in
Oh.
his yard.
Oh yeah,
About
In
a
this
week or two.
area?
Yeah.
that happened a few weeks ago. So in my
It's
for
probably
context,
that guy.
you
That-
Colton, you explain.
That's a
for-
huge
for context
coincidence.
What's that?
about what happened in my area. Never. Thank you, Colton. In my area, in the last month or last week, the police have come and searched for a hit and run individual within my property. That has been very interesting.
Is your neighbor?
It might be my neighbor. She is very gruff.
Anyway, so he has speeding, running a stop sign, 3 counts of hit and run, and DUI and driving without insurance. That's 6 charges he has against him now.
I guess he just won't be driving.
Did you ever find the photo of the guy?
No, they haven't posted the mugshot yet.
Still?
Were
They
you,
haven't given me my accident report yet.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Were
been
you,
2 weeks.
Were you really mad when this happened?
I was just tired. I was just so
Were
done.
you
with it.
mad though?
Well,
I wasn't really mad.
What
to
was
be honest.
hilarious was like a couple
So no need to masturbate.
after after the cleanup and the report, and he got picked up. He texted me what happened. I was like, "Whoa, man,
Did
really?"
you go up there to check on it?
No,
Because he didn't know about it.
No.
Because I didn't know about it until after they cleaned up.
Yeah.
He
I
texted
was
me
already
after
long
he had
gone.
gone home. So I was like, you didn't say anything? He's like, no, I had to let the cops know and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, that's reasonable, but I
think
wish.
you should have called Christian first.
Yeah.
He was, like I said, the Boys and Girls Club
'Cause they
was
get-
closing down then. That lady let me in there, so I figured there's no, why you bring him all the way over here,
I wanted to see the accident.
Because he's the reason it happened.
Yeah. You could have grabbed me by the collar and shook me. Like, you did this. But what was hilarious was I forgot about it the next day, like a good friend. And
Oh yeah.
he came into work because Colton works the late shift most of the time. And I asked him, so man, how was your movie last night? He was like, I didn't go to the movie. And I was like, oh, really? What happened? He was like, I got in an accident.
Because of you.
Yeah. And then he gave me another ride home that same day, and I joked around like a good friend. I was like, wouldn't it be funny if you got in another accident?
I would have killed you. I would have never taken you home ever again.
I
Well,
was-
that's in your sister's car now too, isn't it?
No, that was my mother's car.
The
Yeah.
red.
No. It was before I started driving my sister's car. I was an Explorer.
Secretly, like 5% of my brain, like deep down, was kind of hoping he'd get in another accidit, so I could be like,
That's why you're a horrible person, Christian.
because it would have made for a great story.
But what really sucks about it is the fact he doesn't have insurance. That just really makes me mad.
Oh, the dude didn't have it. Oh.
It's like, come on.
Well, at least he got caught.
Yeah.
He's probably gonna do some time.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
He might be
I hope-
currently serving
Well,
right
I
now.
hope
As
he
a
has
boy-
to go through like a class something before he can drive again. To be honest, like,
Tater,
he
since-
doesn't deserve his license
Since you
back.
have history with these places,
He ain't gonna get it back for a little while.
Yeah.
does a Boys and Girls Club count as the same as like a district school zone, where the speed limit and all that safety wise,
So technically not. It's its own
privately?
yes, privatized group.
Go on.
But at the same time, I think the local law enforcement would get it more.
Stricter.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
I just can't believe that's the chances of that happening. And then, I mean, his fault too.
Yeah.
just-
Well, and I told him too when he told me
how many
afterwards.
times have I taken you home?
A couple stuff you've seen.
But I'm
I've
saying
heard
I've
about.
never. Just the amount of times
Yeah.
taking you home, the amount of
Yeah.
times he's taking you home.
That was like his third time taking me ever, I think.
Yeah.
But like I gotta.
What time
so,
of day was this though? Like,
Like
8:30.
8:30.
So Colton, if I'm wrong, you correct me.
Yes.
But you commented the driver hit at the bus.
Van.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's at the bottom. That's real far away from the street where the Boys and Girls Club is at.
What?
in the parking lot across from it.
I don't know.
No. It was at the front of the
It was parked
building.
in
It was parked
But
right
there
at
was a
entrance, 'cause
van
I just
parked
got
in
back
that-
from a field trip.
There was a van parked in that little lot in front of the
What happened
door.
with the Mandalorian?
Okay.
Did y'all watch that recently?
He was driving the bus.
Yeah, the Mandalorian drove the bus through the building. But I was gonna say that it was funny when Colton described to me how people crowded around him and they were worried.
All of his neighbors came.
Yeah, and I was like, luckily for you, that's not out of the ordinary in my neighborhood. Like,
Yeah.
there's always an accident or someone getting hurt.
They
so,
were very nice.
so obviously people are gonna be worried more for the victim. Also, you're white, so you were safe no matter what.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and bring race right into it. Jeez.
Yeah. But the
Well,
nice
you're
about it,
rich and white. I don't see a problem with it.
nice thing about the whole thing, since there's a bunch of people in that area, like parents and stuff, they got so many eyewitness accounts that they didn't have to ask me about what happened. It's like, we get it. He ran the stop sign. He hit you.
Did you have to give him an explanation as to why you're there? Like, I was taking my Mexican friend.
But he just asked me. I was like, I was dropping off a friend from work. I was on my way out to go see a movie. They're like, oh, okay.
And then I was also not surprised when he told me the cop showed it like 15 minutes. I was like, yeah, they get there real quick.
No, they showed up. Dude, I was still on the phone with
Yeah.
the 911 operator when the
They know
first
the
responders
area.
showed up. That was pretty cool. Quick response time.
So there's a day in the life of my life in that
Oh,
neighborhood.
here's another funny thing. The cop knew like all your neighbors
Oh, yeah.
by name.
If you told me the guy's name, I could probably be like, yeah, we most
Yeah.
likely know him.
Yeah, if you run in with the law yourself, Christian.
I plead the fifth.
There you go.
There you
It's a safe option.
The fifth what?
I have nothing to say.
go. Oh.
But any other interesting stories from anyone else in this round table?
Life sucks.
Well, have you yourself ever had any? And I don't mean like, I don't want to have like a confession here of, yeah, this one time I robbed a bank.
No, we'll keep our
Like-
all our skeletons in the closet.
You know, like getting pulled over or anything like that. What's probably like the
One thing you can really
your worst
reveal.
traffic violation? Let's say like that you've done or.
Only had one warning ticket, and that was driving without a headlight because of my mom's car, and I didn't know. So,
Did you tell the cop it was your mom's fault?
Yeah. I was like, let's just get to school already. He gave me a warning ticket. I was like, cool.
When I was in high school, I got pulled over. I was going to my house after work, and I got out of work at 10 o'clock, so it was about 10:30, and I lived out in the country in Transylvania County, and I got pulled over I was doing 92 in a 45.
Wow.
Now, the reason I was doing this is where I lived, we had these guys I went to school with
Yeah.
Bullies.
that they didn't like me. I would call them bullies because they wouldn't mess with me unless they were in a group.
Yeah.
Wow.
A single one wouldn't come up and mess with me because he knows how that would have ended.
Yeah.
But there was a car behind me when I started going out and got in the countryside, and a car got real close behind me, and their bright lights were on. And I thought, this must be one of them guys screwing with me. And I thought, well, and I had a 88 Mazda 929 at the time, so it had a decent sized V6 in it. You know, had some power, some zip to it. I was like, I'm pretty sure they're driving a Geo Tracker, so I got this. And I knew the road like the back of my hand, so I floor it.
Pull out the crowbar.
And I pull away from the car behind me for like a second. The next thing I know, it's right on my tail. I'm like, this is crazy. So I'm flying through these curves, and then in one part of this road, there's a straightaway the straightaway itself's probably about a mile. And I was like, I'm definitely gonna lose him right here. That's where I punched it. And I was doing 92, barreling down the straightaway, and this car was standing right with me.
Good God.
So once you get to the end of the straightaway, you come up over a little hill and around a curve, and then you turned off on my road. Well,
Yeah.
as I'm getting ready to turn off on my road, blue lights come on in the car behind me, and I was just like, oh crap.
Wait. Go on.
Yeah. Oh, it was a state trooper.
Really?
Why would he wait that long just to see how much stuff?
Guess he was still running my tag. Had a hard time typing it in when he's chasing me down the road.
Oh.
So he pulls me over at the end of my road, and he says, why'd you speed off and drive away like that? And I told him what I thought.
Yeah.
He's like, well, that's not how you deal with that situation. I said, well, your bright lights are on. And his answer was, oh, are they? Sorry about that.
Wow.
So I thought, you know, being a high school, I mean, I was kind of nervous, kind of like I don't want to do anything to antagonize the situation. But I ended up getting a ticket, and I had to actually go to court over it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And it was like, yeah, I mean, I can't deny what I did, so
Yeah.
I basically just asked for a reduction, and then
Did they agree?
yeah, I got a reduction,
Sweet.
and you know, it was okay. I had to pay a fine, but that was pretty much it. So about a year goes by, and
Same car.
no, different car, because I was actually driving my mom's car this day, and I was going into town this day. I wasn't really running from anybody this time. I was just driving too fast.
Yeah.
Same road though, coming into town, and he clocked me on a curve. He said I was doing 65 or whatever, 45, and I was like, if I did 65 around that curve, I think I would have wrecked. I had to go to court over that one too. So I had to use my prayer for judgment at that point to not get, you know, points on my license or
Yeah.
something like that. It was the same cop though, same state trooper.
Oh,
I was like, oh, that's gonna work out great for me.
He already likes me.
But I had told my friends about it, and I found out a few people from school and a few of my friends and stuff had all been pulled over by the same state trooper.
Ooh.
And I thought,
it's a conspiracy.
it is kind of weird. And then I kept looking at his name, and I thought, It sounds real familiar. I don't want to mention his name just because.
Yeah.
But what we did establish is that his hot ex-wife was our school secretary.
Oh.
So I kind of like, maybe he's just got some bitterness towards
High school kids.
all the high school kids that are gawking at his wife, his ex-wife that works in the office.
I mean, she is hot, sir.
That's my excuse.
But I mean, it was weird too, just because. And I kind of wonder. I wanted to like find out, had he ever pulled anybody over the age of 18? You know,
Yeah.
like you ever pulled anybody else over that's an adult? Or, you know.
You ever pulled anyone over who hasn't slept with your wife yet?
Oh my god. Say
He'd
that.
shoot you on the spot.
I was gonna say I think the nightstick would come out at that point. Oh, he resisted arrest, Your Honor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I did. My eyes are beat
The
shut.
camera was blurry as it was going on, so you can't see it.
Yeah, I've had my share of running. I used to get pulled over all the time coming home from work. One of the times I got pulled over. I used to have a '79 Ford Bronco, and it was really loud and it was jacked up, very redneck style vehicle. And I would get pulled over about 2 times a week coming home from work, and they would always just ask me, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm going home from work." And it got to the point where I'd be like, "Going home from work, just like the past 2 days,
Yeah.
just like last week." And one time I told them that, and they said, "Are you being smart?" And I was like, "No." And I was like, "I'm just going home from work." Like, can we search your vehicle? I said, "Yes." Go right ahead. So he shines his light in my back seat and in my floorboard.
Pulls out the 2-ounce marijuana.
Oh my god.
No, he literally he shines in the back seat, shines in my floorboard, and that's it. He lets me go. Didn't go look in the back of the truck because the window was out of the back of the Bronco. He didn't go check back there. I didn't have anything back there, but he didn't go look. Didn't look in my glove box. So I'm like, was that the search? Like, not that I want to, I don't want you to tear my truck apart, but
It'd be hilarious.
Like-
You see him like stick his hand through the window and drop like the little bag of coke and a gun into the passenger seat. Look, it's right there.
oh, that would have been easy to get out of
Yeah.
because I would have any idea what to do with those drugs. God, do you make a cake out of that crap? Or-
I was telling someone at work, do you think it'd be hilarious if one day, while working, I have flour and I put a little on my upper lip and it looks like I'm all coked out while I work?
Funny.
Our boss walks in.
Make the cheeseburger.
I was hoping either it'd be in front of you or one of our bosses or managers.
Probably wish he would.
I'd probably get reprimanded, but it'd be hilarious.
Yeah, you better hope it's me.
I had this friend in high school. He was a really good friend of mine. Terrible driver. I won't list all the things he did, but just know he's been in multiple accidents.
Addison.
No, it's not him. Worse than him somehow.
Wait, Addison's bad?
He's okay.
That's more doing his extreme sports.
You retracted that back because it's like he might hear this.
But one of the worst things he did was he ran past a stopped school bus,
Oh,
speeding.
Oh,
Didn't even know he did it.
I hate
The
those
cops
people.
showed up at his house and said, "You ran the stop school bus." He said, "No, I didn't." And they showed him video footage of the school bus of him just flying by. It's obviously him in the front seat, not even looking at the road, and flying past them.
wow.
And I thought he was going to get his license taken away. That's like the worst thing you
Don't
can
they
do.
do that though now?
What?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, that's like pretty much an instant.
Oh yeah.
Like
That's,
they-
they
like
have
that's
they-
5
cameras
points on your license.
all around the bus.
They like take a year.
Yeah.
They revoke your license for a year, don't they?
Well,
Yeah.
he got off easy for that somehow, but jeez, it was bad. I just love how he said, "No, it was not me." Like,
Confident.
Well,
Oh,
that, I mean, it was kind of like, well, buddy, it was. 'Cause we got your car and picture of you.
There's a reason.
Here's you
we're at
not
your
looking
house.
at the road, so you have no idea. We see why you think you didn't do it, because you were not paying attention to anything.
I mean, there's a couple days he showed up to school and his rearview mirror is just knocked off his hinge. She's like, "What happened?" He's like, "Oh, I hit it on the garage on the way out." It's like, how?
Oh my god. This is one of those inexcusable, like, not millennial, but one of those, like, younger kids, like,
Boomers.
acts. No.
Zoomers.
I I don't even know the terms anymore because they're all stupid.
Yeah.
But she came over to our house one day, and she has like a minivan or something, and she did this stupid thing because my sister was out in the yard to meet up with her, and when she pulled up, she didn't pull into the driveway even though it was empty, so she could have fucking used it. But she pulled up to the
Calm down.
the curb in front of my house, and you've seen it, Ben. But she pulled up to the side of it, and my sister was on her phone in front of her, and she was like, I guess like for Snapchat or something. She was recording her, and she was like, hey, and she was like, hey, and she looked at her while waving and backing the van up, and our neighbors, they had their car parked in front of their house on the curb, so she backs into it, and then she realized what she did, and the neighbors saw it too because they were on their front porch, and they just saw it all happen. Like, what the heck? And so she moves forward, and then they all like crowd around her, and it was funny too because there was like 5 of them and just one of her, and I was like, she's gonna get beat up or something. But they looked at it, and like I think it was like I don't know what model because I'm not good with cars, but apparently like the front bumper was slightly scratched, but her back bumper was completely like dented and everything. I was like, haha, you deserve that for not paying attention.
You ever seen how people park sometimes?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This might be very old man of me, but there's this time I just stare sometimes, just trying to figure out, did they do this on purpose?
Yeah.
Or are they just that
Did they have
bad
a stroke?
Like, are
halfway
they just
through?
this bad at what they're doing?
Yeah.
Now, like, I think the guys that have the huge trucks that are jacked way up with the huge tires, I think they do it because
Tater's
they
got
just
a
don't.
truck.
They either don't know how to drive that big of a truck, or they're like, I'm driving such a big truck, I can do what I want, and they have that. This is fun. I'll just stop where you're here.
I'm looking at Tater through all these.
Tater's a little bit gone here.
Tater's passing some stones tonight.
What?
What?
I agree with you.
On what?
You're a rude person on the road.
Yes.
Oh, I will probably have a heart attack being mad at somebody while driving.
I've gotten pretty pissed.
People are stupid. People are stupid on the road.
Yeah.
And in parking lots.
And in front
I
of
will-
Christian's house.
Yeah, I will guiltily admit I've ran a few red lights because I got
Why?
distracted talking to someone in the past.
How?
I don't know. I just got distracted.
How do you just get distracted?
You just get distracted. You're talking and it's like, oh, blah, 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 and
I
then
hate
it's like, oh, I just ran
My
a red
biggest
light.
concern is I'm gonna get so mad on the road one day that I'm gonna have to masturbate, and then I'm gonna wreck because I was masturbating while I'm driving.
Wait, you've never done that?
Only when I used to deliver pizzas.
On the pizza.
On the job.
Now I'm hungry
They
for
asked
pizza.
extra cheese
Jesus Christ.
and blam.
Cheese and crackers.
I didn't.
You ever seen the guys that park like in a small? It's a smaller parking lot, like around a fast food joint, and they have a trailer. So they pull
No.
it in lengthwise and literally cover up like 6 spaces.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's got to be wrong. That can't be how you do that.
My family has done that before when we're going
Horse trailers.
Horse trailers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, you know what? You suck.
You getting
There's
stabbed.
nowhere else for us to go.
It's no one else's fault.
You know where you
It's
could
your
go?
fault.
Right off a cliff with that thing.
You know what they can do?
What?
Okay, like, so we're talking downtown here,
Or
where
shoot the
like
horses.
Bojangles is.
Yeah.
You drive yourself down there into the movie theater parking lot,
Yeah.
and you can pull through 2 spaces straightway that way,
Well,
and
unfortunately,
walk yourself up to
unfortunately,
Bojangles.
there's not always a second parking lot for us to go into.
You're not looking hard enough.
It's not our problem, Colton. You guys just,
You.
oh well, guess we just have to take up 6 spaces.
Man, sure is a rich person
We always
problem.
get to go. It's not like we eat in. We
You
get
guys
to go
ever
and
just
eat.
like worry that you can't take your horses all around with you and just ride them in?
When you take
Any
the horses
building.
on a trip like that, do
Yeah.
you pull up in order and then pull it forward so they can order?
Yeah.
You ever You ever just get mad that you can't find the right shine
horse
and
is
polish
like,
for your gold
Yeah,
chain?
y'all got any apples? Or oats? Sugar cubes, maybe?
You ever,
Splenda's fun. Yeah.
you ever get mad when you can only find a 12-car garage for your house when you have only 10, so you gotta buy 2 more to fill it up because you're OCD like that?
What? Yeah. Well, I always love the looks I get from people on the highway when we're out camping or something. So we have like 2 dogs in the back and like 3 horses, you know, with their heads out the window, whatnot. And they're all just looking, just giving us looks like, what the hell are you
You
doing?
camp with the horses?
Yeah. It's the best time to go camping.
The horses?
Oh yeah.
Well, Colton, we all don't have that luxury, Colton.
I know. I'm just saying that if you do, you don't even have to hike, dude. You just get on the horse and see everything. It's
Yeah.
relaxing.
You ever get mad when your indoor marble statue with a waterfall is just the wrong marble color, so you yell at the constructor?
I think we're,
I'm sorry, Carl. I just like picking on you.
You have a marble statue?
Apparently.
And a 12-car garage.
Is that neighbor's dog ear still alive?
Unfortunately, yes.
God,
I hate that dog, honestly.
I can roll up there and kill it if you want me to.
No one would blame you.
I think all I have to say, honestly, is like it came at me. I thought it was gonna hurt me, so I shot it in the face 12 times. My bad.
Yeah. She was out. They've been letting her out just a little bit early and keep her out just a little bit late. Sometimes she's there in the morning when I get up. Pisses me off. It's like, get out! Go home!
Well, it's such an invasive dog.
Yeah. It want.
Like some dogs, like they can bark and be loud, but then they know like kind of where that boundary is.
Yeah.
That thing comes up to your house.
Yes. It fought with our dogs a couple times in our front porch. I've gone out there with like a broom and stuff. It's like, get the, out
It's
of
like
here.
an annoying neighbor. Like, hey, can I borrow some sugar?
Does
It's
it,
5 a.m.
But it's
Does-
fun.
What
does
you
it ever
sugar
pick
for?
on the blind and deaf dog?
It does actually.
I knew it!
Because, okay, in that defense, they got that dog when it was a puppy. It was a cute puppy. It was small then.
Calm
not
down,
like
Tater.
huge.
These crimes will be reprimanded soon.
Anyway, when that dog was a puppy, that old blind and deaf dog that I have wasn't so blind and deaf then, and beat the crap out of that dog. She hated that dog.
As a puppy?
As a
Beat it
puppy.
As a pup?
So as soon as that dog got big, oh, it was.
He's like, I remembered everything you did to
Oh
me.
yeah, it was bad. So
No.
Put your clothes on that.
No.
un- unfortunately, we've already let the neighbors know
Okay.
Then we have-
Come on.
that we have a problem with that dog, and that's a problem. So what you're supposed to do when you have a problem with your neighbor's dogs, you never tell them, and if it keeps happening, you just kill the dogs, and they have no idea. Because now if we kill the dog, they know it's us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you need somebody that,
Yeah.
they don't know.
Exactly. But they'll still probably blame us.
Well, I mean, how much is it worth to you to have this dog to get rid of,
I could do it for $5.
How much you want, though?
That's a deal.
Trying to make some money.
I mean, it's not gonna be pretty though.
I can clean up better. It'll cost you a little more, but if they won't know,
If they will never find that dog again, it'd be worth quite a bit to me.
they'll be mad.
They'll be mad, but they can't say anything. It'll just disappear. And it will not be anywhere around here.
They'll probably just have to masturbate to get over it.
Exactly.
Because when you're mad, that's what you do.
Is that?
Man, I hate that dog, man. I've been to your house once, and I just
Yeah.
hate that dog.
No, I hate her too.
It scared the crap out of me that night.
She loves me like that. That dog is she. But if she didn't love me, I think I would be a lot more harsh towards her. 'Cause she beats up on my dogs all the time, and that's just not cool.
That night, I literally thought I was getting attacked.
Yeah.
Because it's like pitch black, walking behind the van,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden that dog's right there.
Oh, I would have kicked the crap. We probably both would kick the crap out of it
Like,
if it actually bit you.
I might have killed it.
Yeah.
I always thought about that because there was this time when my son was like 2 or 3, and we had him in a stroller, and me and my wife and him went walking down our road just to take a walk. And this guy, he lived down the road from us a little bit, and he had this big Doberman, and it's a nice, beautiful dog, you know, nice dog, but it just barked. You go near its house, it just goes nuts.
Yeah.
Well, we go walking by, and that dog like starts like barking and growling, kinda. It kind of takes a couple steps down its porch towards us, and the guy's sitting there on his porch. And I look over at him, and the guy's like, "Oh, don't worry, he won't do nothing." And the dog like just starts walking towards us, barking, getting pissed. So I get between like my family and the dog, and I'm thinking, this is gonna suck. And the guy's like, "He won't do nothing, I promise." And I said, "Yeah, I hope he doesn't, because I'll kill your dog right now."
Yeah.
But I was
Honestly.
thinking, I'm gonna have to grab this dog, get scratched up, bit up. I will kill the dog, but
Yeah. It's
Easily.
I'm just gonna like wrap my arm around its neck and lay on it until it stops moving. But
And then you're next, old man.
You know that neighbor's dog, you know, that you hate, bit my mom once because it was going through her trash.
Why didn't you shoot
In the
it
morning.
then?
Well, she was beating the crap out of it. She took a stick and was like hitting her and stuff. And in self-defense, it bit her in the hand pretty good. And we almost killed it then. Like, it was very close. So we had like a family meeting about it. It was like, it was a big deal.
yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
It's the same with like you and that stray cat, Ben. It's like both problems. Easily kill it, solved.
Well,
Cat's a little
You
different.
have you not killed that thing yet?
no, this is a different one. I think the
Do you
one
want to
that
give context?
I think the one that was hobbling around. I think it
Pass
kind of
away.
went off in the woods and passed away.
No.
I haven't seen it for a few weeks.
Do you want to give a quick summary context for the viewers?
What of my family and all the
Strays.
tons of cats. We have 3 cats in my house that we actually got. They weren't strays. That's 2 more cats than I wanted in my house, but
One of them actually likes you.
the one, he thinks I'm like the coolest thing ever, which is fine. His name's Cooper. He's really fat, and he only whines for food all the time. The other 2, I mean, they could care less if I was there or not, because as soon as I come in, they scatter and hide. They're like deathly afraid of me. And then one day we had this one that came up on our porch, and I wasn't there at the time. And when I got home, the kids said, "Hey, we put some food out for that cat on the porch." And I looked at my wife and I was like, "Why?" She's like, "What?" I said, "It's never going to leave now.
Yeah.
You fed it. It's going to stay." So since that day, it has its own dish on our porch now. It has its own little house. We made it so it can stay warm. It's in a tote with a
Is
blanket. And
Is this the other one or the one with the leg?
the one with the legs gone. That one, I think,
What was its name again?
I can't remember what they called it. I called it Hobble-On because
For context for that cat, there was a cat with a horrible messed up leg, so it was hobbled, and it belonged to a neighbor of yours, right?
I think so. We don't know that for sure, but I think it belonged to a certain group of neighbors.
And apparently, they were one of those people that lets the cat just wander out into the wild, and
I
then
think it got mangled by something in the wild. And
Yeah.
It just didn't survive. But
and obviously they didn't care enough for it, so it just stayed like that.
and the kids recently named the cat on the porch, so it's even more part of like our household now. And I told him, I said, "It's fine, but that cat can't come in the house."
Well, didn't you recently also say y'all were having talks of getting it shots and stuff or something like that?
Yeah, my wife was like, "We need to call that number to see about getting it shots." I'm like, "Why?"
It's a waste of money.
But there is part of the thing is there's other strays around the neighborhood, and I really don't want that cat getting pregnant constantly and having litter after litter of cats.
Is it a girl?
I'm pretty sure.
Because if it's a guy, then you don't have to worry. Because
Well, thanks.
the dad will abandon the mom.
But the kids named this one Patches, so I just call it Patches O'Houlihan, like the dude from Dodgeball.
I forget.
It's
been a while.
the guy in the wheelchair
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
teaching him how to play dodgeball. Yeah, so
I
that
don't-
works.
I always suggest to Ben if he ever just wants to call in a favor to his old pal Christian, I can take that thing out somewhere and family will never know.
I'm just worried about what you're gonna do to it because I don't think the worst thing you're gonna do to it is kill it.
You'll just find a video on YouTube one day.
There's a few other strays around the neighborhood that they'll try to venture up on the porch, and if I'm there, I go out there and they scatter them away. But I wouldn't be surprised here in 3 years if we don't have like a
Mountain of cats.
herd of cats just constantly circling our house. And
That's when you get the lawnmower.
my God, Christian, you're a sick person.
See, I have a barn cat. That's interesting.
That's
'cause-
what you get the catapult for.
He's useful though.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He keeps our barn.
He has a job.
Get it? And you launch him into the woods with the catapult.
Wow. But see, Ben's got homeless cats. You got a cat with a job.
Yeah, I mean, it's outside. It's somewhat fends for itself. We do feed it food like every day, but it's still inside. Quotation marks inside.
Does it like y'all?
Oh yeah, it's the friendliest cat ever.
Does it have a name?
Diego.
Yeah.
After Ice Age,
Wow.
the cat in Ice Age. We were
The
kids.
saber-tooth thing?
Yeah.
I thought you just had like a Mexican friend named Diego growing up.
Oh, I don't
Wasn't
hang out-
that the guy who was like the
I don't hang out with
animal
Mexicans. What are
rescue
you talking
guy?
The what?
Diego?
about? Dora's cousin.
Yeah. Yeah, Dora's cousin. Go, Diego, go. That's right, yeah. What was his friend, the little leopard?
Yeah.
I forget.
It was a leopard.
What was the leopard's name?
No, a cheetah.
Wait.
Which one? Damn it.
I think it's the same thing, ain't it?
It's different, but it doesn't matter. That's the point.
What was his little sidekick's name?
I didn't.
Dora had boots, that
Yeah.
stupid monkey, because he wore boots.
Obviously it has to do with like an L, maybe like Luis.
Louis,
Yeah, maybe.
Larry Leopard.
Louis C.K.
My idol. Not now. After what he did. Before the allegations.
Yeah. Allegations wasn't too bad, but
Yeah.
it was.
I mean, they were compared to most.
yeah, that's the thing.
It was the most lighthearted thing ever.
Yeah, but it's still bad in
Yeah.
most contexts. But in the context of Hollywood, it's like, oh, it wasn't that bad.
Did you guys watch Dora and Diego when y'all were younger?
I watched Dora. I never watched
I watched
Diego that
all
much.
of them.
I don't know why.
I mean, I watched them in a little different context. I watched them because my kids were watching
Yeah.
them. You guys watched them to learn things.
Yeah.
I was a
Well, I
Mexican.
think I was around 7 or 8. I realized this show is for girls, and I stopped watching it.
Well, so is like Dragon Ball Z, but that doesn't stop some people.
Anime is bi.
No, stop.
Flip the table.
Buy is too limiting, Christian. It's 2019.
2019 can suck it.
All right. Along with vegetarians.
Yeah.
Vegetarians can suck it.
There you go. That's all I'm on.
All right. Well,
I think that's it.
Is that
Yeah,
it?
I'm pretty much done.
I've
Tater's
been
dying.
done for about 45
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
Quiet Tater.
The only reason we know Tater's here is because of the howling every few minutes.
And he's only been doing that to stay awake.
He kind of looks like one of
Tater's a
them.
little tipsy right now.
He kind of looks like one of them. He looks like one of them veterans that's in a wheelchair, just sitting off to the side.
No,
right
this is my chair.
Well, earlier he was hunched over, clutching at his chest, laughing, and we thought he was
It
dying.
looked like he had a stroke, to be honest.
Yeah.
Stop it.
You could see the drool just seeping out.
Real
from
hard.
his head.
No.
It was kind of convulsing a bit. There it is.
now. You want us to
The
feed
trees
you?
are talking.
You want us to feed you?
Mashed potatoes, yes, please.
Just remember, as soon as he goes to bed, we start grabbing everything we can carry.
No!
Can I tuck you in before I leave?
Can I sleep with you?
Leave.
Wait, repeat that.
We've never slept together, have we?
From what I hear, there was no sleeping going
Ah!
on.
Tater will be wide awake tonight.
There was a lot of-
Furiously.
There was a lot
Why
of,
do
what
I
was it? What was
deserve
it called?
this?
There was a lot of beaten cheeks.
Yeah. Tater's gonna be like, spread 'em.
Sounds like you're raping a clown.
What?
Oh my god.
Oh.
I can cut it.
Fix it in post.
Just say-
Wait, which?
I'm very curious. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So have you heard the like? What do you call
Oh my god.
like doorman?
Drug
Wait.
tape.
Poor guy. Is that what you wanted, Christian? Is that better?
Yes. That'll wrap up this podcast.
This might be one for the never release archive.
Yeah. Or a lot of bleeps. But I've been your host, Christian. With me.
As always.
Colton.
Broccoli.
He's gone.
And Tater. Woo.
And I hope you people have a good night, because we sure as hell did.